Hi guys, welcome to the red carpet with me, Clara Alexander, and today I am continuing my journey on the supernatural, where it is really a journey from me walking from the natural and looking at things from the natural to now looking at things from a supernatural perspective. Now, it is a journey, so I'm still on it, so I have not arrived yet, and I'm just walking this journey with you so that you can kind of see that it's not only certain people that walk in the supernatural. Like, I'm just a regular person. I started with a hair loss clinic. I live in a regular house. There's all those things. I drive a regular car. So like, I'm just a regular person like you that's showing up and watching. But I think there's something different when you see a regular person's life transform from what it was to what it is and what it will be. And when that transformation is because of a change in the manner and the way in which they see life, a change in the manner in which the way they walk, the change in the manner in which their interactions with life, then I guess you can kind of connect with that and go, well, maybe there might be some truth here. So for me, it is just about you listening and watching what I do and see the transformation that's happening in my life, so that it's not a case of, when the transformations come, then I'm trying to tell you retrospectively. I always like to walk you through my journey. So everything that I do is I walk you through a journey. I walk you through where I'm at so that you can see the flaws, you can see the high points, you can see the low points, you can see exactly what's going on in my life, you can see exactly where I'm at. So, and you may be climbing on board where I'm at today. You may be further down the line, or you may be a little bit further away from where I am. But I do think that if you are showing up and you're watching me, then there's a reason for it. So thank you very much for connecting. Thank you very much for showing up. And all I would like you to do is, if you can, just like the video, share the video, see, because you never know that just because you've seen it, it might be also something important for somebody else to see. So, but today, I want to speak about the gap, because so far what I've spoken about is my journey from when I, started listening to Prophet Lovi and how that journey took me to LA. And I've got to the point where I'm on my way back to the UK. But I really want to step a little bit before that, before I actually started watching Prophet Lovey. What was life like that? And what was the connecting point? Because there's always going to be a connector. You're not just going to suddenly arrive at a place. There's always going to be something that connects you onto the road that you need to be at. And I believe that, and what I'm going to speak about today is exactly that. Does anybody watch the movie Matrix? Matrix is kind of like one of my I don't know, one of the best movies that I've seen. It's one of my favorites. If you've not seen it, I urge you, go and watch The Matrix, and you probably understand what I'm saying. And there's a point in The Matrix where he was presented with a pill. It's like, take, take the blue pill and something in your life's going to change, or take the red pill and you go back to normal, or the other way around. But it was about him taking a pill. And he chose to take the pill where he would go on an adventure. And I believe that's kind of like something that's what's happened to me. I was just living a regular life. I'd go to church, I'd tithe, I'd serve in church. And I believe I had what I call faith, because, I believe that God would do things in my life. But I struggled with a lot of things. I struggled with a lot of things emotional. I struggled with a lot of things just physically as well. So, yeah, so I had a lot of things that I struggled with. And a lot of the things that I struggled with stemmed from trauma. I kind of like had this thought process that I always had to strive to be the person that I needed to be. And as a result, I built businesses. I had a lot of businesses that failed, but I also had businesses that worked out. I had people that gravitated towards me, and then I had people that left me. So I had a lot of things in my life that I felt that I needed to continuously work hard at. As a Christian, I felt like I needed to walk in a particular way. And I struggled in a lot of things. I struggled to be kind. I struggled to be, to to not have resentment. I struggled to forgive. I struggled with a lot of things, and I felt like there was like a heavy burden on me to act in a particular way because I was a Christian. So when this was my life, I still did the things that I like to do. I go on holiday, had a boyfriend, had all those kind of things which I thought were nice, and which I thought, yeah, were moving me in a direction that I wanted to be. I always wanted to be married. I wanted to have children. I wanted to live in a really nice house, and and drive a really nice car. Those were the kind of things that I wanted to do. But I was at a point in my life where things weren't going so well, where finances were going in the opposite direction. Salons were not happy with the work that I was doing. So there was a lot of stuff going on, which was not great. And I was at that point where I was like speaking to God and saying, "No, God, is this what life is going to be? Like, I believe that there's something different than what I'm going on. And I know that, from dreams that I've had before, that the picture that I was seeing now is not the picture that God has shown me." So I couldn't connect the dots. I was like, well, why is my life going like this? Whereas the picture that I see is something totally different. So that was the struggle and the tension that I had. Now, there was just one day, and a message came, and it was about a conference. It's a Christian conference. We'll go. Just thought, yeah, let's go. Let's see. So, and that was what we did. Fast forward probably about a few weeks down the line, because it wasn't that long between when we found out about the conference, when we went to the conference, and we ended up at the conference. Unbeknownst to me, this was now the beginning of a shift in the way in which I was going to start to think. The conference was fantastic. I had a prophet that came all the way from India. The hospitality was just like hospitality I'd never seen before. Like, they literally cooked food. I've never been to a conference where anyone has cooked food for us. They cooked food for us. It was just like the people that were there were so friendly, were so kind. And the conference itself, I had a prophetic word. And in the prophetic word, what the prophet said was that my life was going to change and my lifestyle was going to change. And he gave a period of 3 months. So you can imagine, I'm like, my lifestyle's going to change in 3 months. I'm just thinking, wow, everything's going to be upside down and things are going to be so different for me. And this was the thought process that I had. But when somebody gives you a prophecy, you kind of like think that there's something that you need to do to make it come around. So you start to change things in your life. But you've got no clue what you're doing, because ultimately, when you have a prophecy from a true prophet, it's not about what you do, and sometimes the things that you do can actually disrupt the path that you're supposed to be going on. Look at what happened with Sarah and Abraham when God says to Abraham, "You will have a child." And what did they think? They thought they'll help God out, and they decided they were going to have a surrogate child, which is what happened. But that was not what God promised them. And God said to them, "That's not what I promised you. I am going to give you a child." And even though it seems impossible, even though it seems like, you're beyond the ages of actually having a child, it's going to happen, because it's going to happen supernaturally, and it's going to happen because I've said so. So I started on the journey trying to change things in my life, trying to think maybe this is the direction I need to go. And I had also other people talking to me about it as well and telling me, you should go this way, you should go that way. So, that period in my life was very strange, so to speak. But there was one thread that ran through it, because after the conference, there was just something in me that made me just want to go back to that church. And I started attending the church regularly every single Sunday. I'd go to my morning church, and then I'd go to that church in the evening. And there was one thing specific about what the actual pastor of the church, and his name is Prince. And when he would preach every single Sunday, he preached the same thing. And I was like, what's going on? And what he preached on was the revelation of Christ. And it was a terminology that I'd never heard about before. I didn't understand what it was when I first started listening. But as the weeks went on, something in me started to just connect, and something in me just started to align. And I suddenly started to understand something that I didn't know before. I suddenly understood that I wasn't just, a human being, but I was actually a spiritual being. And actually, when I gave my life to Christ, something changed, that I was no longer that same person that I was before, even though I looked the same, because my flesh is the same. Nothing changed on the outwardly, but internally something had changed. But because I'd never really connected with that change, I didn't know what that was. So even though the change had happened, I still continued to do things the way I did things before, just thinking that I just needed to be better, just thinking that if I read my Bible and if I tried to be a nice person, if I tried to be a better person, then those things would automatically happen. But that's not the case. Through listening to this preaching, and he said the same thing every single week, and different people used to come to church and he will say exactly the same thing. And it was about how God loved us, and it's about how we carry Christ within us, and it's about how we go from being a baby Christian to being a mature Christian, and what maturity was about, and it was just a brand new concept to me. And this is what actually started my spiritual journey. And in that space of time, Pastor Prince became my spiritual father, and he used to talk about things, and he had like um, a Bible study that he did every Thursday, and I would attend the Bible study. I was there with my book and everything. The books were open, and I'd write so many things down because I was learning. I was just lapping all of these things up. But little did I know that that was my preparation. That was my preparation, because when the time came to come, when I had lapped up everything that he was speaking about at that level, because there were so many new people coming, it felt like he couldn't move away from that point, because he knew in his spirit that people didn't get it, that people needed to understand, people needed to make that shift in their mind to suddenly know that, hang on a minute, there's something more. And when I made that shift, that was then when he introduced me to Prophet Lovi. And then I continued my journey in the direction of what Prophet Lovi was talking about, where he started to go deeper into the revelation. And now I started to understand what the revelation was. And here I am today sharing that with you as I'm walking on my journey. So from next week, I'm going to start talking about the changes that have happened in my life since coming back from LA. But I really felt like it was so important for me to take you back to the beginning. And the reason why I want to take you back to the beginning is because sometimes it's a very small thing that happens. Like that was just an invitation to go to a conference. I wasn't thinking about anything. I just thought, okay, I'm going to go to this conference, see what it's like. I wasn't expecting anything, but that obedience to go into that conference has got me to where I am now. And even though, at the time I didn't understand, what did he mean by my lifestyle is going to change? What did that mean? I thought it was something totally different. So I was steering my boat in the direction as to what I thought it was. But now I've come to the realization that it wasn't about that. It's about where I'm at now, because my lifestyle has changed, because I'm different internally. My walk is different. The people that I meet now is different. The way that I do things in life is different. And I'm going to walk you through exactly how those changes have occurred in my life. So yes, my lifestyle has changed, but not in the way that I thought it was going to change. But, God says, seek first the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and all other things will be added to you. So sometimes we are looking for the other things, but actually we're not seeking him. And also God says about seeking him in spirit and in truth. So what does that mean? Many of us think that, okay, we need to just, do our prayers, read our Bible. That is what spirituality is, but it's not, because we are spiritual beings. And until we grasp that, until we understand that we are spiritual beings walking in a human body, but the actions that we take have to be from spirit through, from our spirit outward, not from our outward inward. It comes from in our inward being, who we are internally, externally. And this is what it means to walk in the spirit. And like I said, I'm still on the journey and I'm still learning, but I am taking you from the point of a novice to the point of, somebody that is walking supernaturally. God says, those that walk in the spirit, they are the true sons of God. So when you walk in the spirit, when you see him the way he wants us to see him, when we are the way he expects us to be, then we become awakened to the point that we are his sons. Now, the thing that is really, really interesting to me is how, like, from the point when you start walking in the spirit, you realize that a lot of the striving that you've done in the past, you no longer need to do. And I will talk about this in future videos, where things that I used to really struggle with, I no longer struggle with. Basic things, the complex things, I no longer struggle with. And I'll show you exactly, how that happened. But I wanted to show up today, and I wanted to like honor where I came from, honor my previous spiritual father, honor the things that he spoke about. But I also want to give you an invitation, because as I went to a conference last year, there is also a conference this year. So the very same conference I went to last year, it's again happening this year, but even bigger. Because, when you do something for the first time, because I believe that was the first time they did the conference, when you do it the next time, it becomes bigger. more people know about it, more people attend, and you know, and people become a little more seasoned into how to do things. So if you're at that point, if you're even listening to this video and you're at this point and you're thinking, actually, you know what, Clara, I think there's something on me that's been tugging to, like, to go a little bit deeper, to understand who I am, that there's something that's kind of not connecting, that I've got to disconnect. I urge you to go to this conference, because God will meet you, because God's got something for you. You're not watching this video by chance. You have not listened to all of this stuff by chance. You're not at this point by chance. There's a reason for it. God wants to speak to you, and he will speak to you at the conference. I'm not saying that God doesn't speak to you every day. He does, but he's got something special for you at the conference. And I'm going to leave a link down at the bottom to the conference. So if you are interested, click on the link and just put your name on. It is absolutely free. You don't need to pay a dime. You can put a donation if you want to, but you don't have to. You can just show up. And I tell you, if you show up for those 3 days, God is going to meet you. Your life is going to change, and it will be the beginning of you walking supernaturally, like I started to walk supernaturally. God is going to show you so many things. The prophet, I'm sure, is going to prophesy over you. I'm sure that there's going to be a shift in your life. I'm not saying that just to say, but I'm saying that because that was what happened to me when I was just living a mundane life. Something changed when I went to that conference. Something in me changed when I went to that conference. And since that day, I have not been the same. It has been a journey, and it is still a journey, and I'm walking on that journey. But like 1 year on, because that was done in May 2025, and now now we're in May 2026. 1 year on, my life is unrecognizable. It is so different to what it was before. So if you're at that point, or if you're just inquisitive, it's 3 days. You can come for 1 day, and if it's not for you, walk away. Very simple. But if you come for the first day and you want to come for the second day, then come for the second day. And if you think that you want to come for the third day, then come for the third day as well. And if by any chance you suddenly decide, actually, I want to keep coming to this church, it's in the evening, it's not in the morning, so it's not going to disrupt anything that you do in the morning if you already go to a church in the morning, or even if you're new to Christ. So now I want to talk to you if you're new to Christ. If you're new to Christ and you're saying, this is all gibberish, Clara, like, what on earth are you talking about? Like, have you lost the plot? I want to say to you that, no, I have not lost the plot. This definitely is not gibberish. This is the truth. And the truth will make you free. And if you are there and you're thinking that there is something more to life, but you just don't know what it is, I just want to say to you, just try Jesus. Just ask him the question, are you real? That's all you need to do. Jesus, are you real? If you're real, show me a sign. He loves to show people signs. He loves to show up for you, especially if you don't believe in him. He loves to tell you that he's there. He's still walking. He's been with you from the beginning of time. He knew you before you were even in your mother's womb. He knows every single step. He is not angry at you. He's not mad at you. He's just full of love for you. He's just waiting for you to open the door. And when you open the door, you will see a different life. But when you do see that different life, you can fast track it. You don't need to be like some of us, which, we've been Christians for a long time, but I was a baby Christian for a long time. But God can fast track you into maturity, and you can start to walk in the Spirit and start to walk spiritually and start to see your life in a different way. Very simple. Just ask, God, are you real? And see your life transform. Okay, guys, that's it for this week. And I'm looking forward to catching up again with you next week on the red carpet. But I've got lots and lots of things to share with you on all different things throughout the course of the week. So if I'm not on the red carpet, just dial into my YouTube channel and you'll see me somewhere. Take care, guys, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.